Everybody, welcome to Kyle's Chainsaw Rescue. This is going to be part one of a multi-part project. We are going to be swapping out the motor in this Stihl MS-170. Now, I picked this up as a part saw, knowing all well that the motor was blown. It looked like something fell down in there and somebody went to start it and it is jacked. So there's no, I'm not messing around with what's already messed up. Instead, I decided to jump on Amazon and find myself a replacement motor. I was able to pick this one up for about 35 bucks. I'm going to have it linked down below. You guys can follow that link through Amazon to help support the channel. I'll also have same or similar tools that I'm using in case this is something you want to do. With putting in this new motor, I'm also going to get rid of the 170 style filter. We're going to retrofit the saw here to fit an MS250 filter setup. We'll also be modifying the top, or at least I'll show you and walk you through that because this one's already done. It's all painted up. It's the top I've had. When I got this saw, it was missing the top cover. It was missing throttle linkages. It was missing the side cover here. It was missing the bar nuts. What the heck else is missing? This was the starting recoil on it, the easy start. So I really think that they just put a bunch of parts on and were missing parts and just stuck it up for sale. No big deal. Like I said, I was using it as a part saw anyway. I chainsaw carve, so I got multiple saws, and I thought it'd be great just to shoot a video, putting an Amazon motor in, and going through those steps, and then just kind of seeing how the whole thing performs. So be sure to give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe, guys. When you do, hit that bell, hit all, bring you guys in closer, and start tearing this thing down. I'll try to have all tools listed down below as well, the same or something similar like I was saying. You gotta remove your caps in order to get the recoil off. And we are going to have to stop the piston from going up and down in order to get everything off and get this thing apart, but we'll walk you through it once we get there. Need on those pliers. Set these things aside. T25 wrench. At this point, I like to put my caps back in. Your gas should be drained and your oil should be drained, but sometimes there's still some residual in there that can drip out and all that. Plus, I don't want to get a bunch of dust in here and dirt while I'm working on the unit. Need to remove this air box, get it out of our way. It's going to take a 8mm deep well socket. Rid of our spark plug. Squeeze the trigger. See the linkage moving? Hold that down, release the trigger, pop that throttle linkage forward, it comes out of there. Piece of linkage right here. What you're going to need to do is move this lever forward and finagle that piece out. Take a flathead. I just use the scrunch. You're going to go underneath where the choke lever is right here and very carefully lift, and it'll pop out of that little spot in there. It should not take a lot of force. Too much force and you're going to break it. So get that out of the way. Linkage out of the way. Grab your carburetor, slide it forward. Now obviously you guys can replace any parts you want with OEM Stihl parts, get them from your dealer and do that. Personally, I am just replacing a bunch of parts with some Amazon stuff. Pretty sure this is a HIPAA parts carburetor right here. Again, another great service kit by HIPAA Parts. I'm gonna set that over here and try to keep that kind of clean. What I like to do is get myself a piece of rope. I keep it in a bag because I use it specifically for stopping the piston. I've burnt both ends of the rope. Get yourself about a foot of rope. You need to get in here and take a look at your piston through the spark plug hole. Right? Put your hand here, move things out of the way. Take your left hand, spin that flywheel forward. I want you to spin the flywheel forward. Watch the piston go up and down. Okay, it goes down, comes up, goes down. And as it comes back up, see it come to the top. It'll stop and start to go back down again. Back it up just a little bit. Now, how do you know you're in the right spot? You're going to take a light. All I've got is my phone on me today. You want to look in there and you want to make sure you can't see through to the exhaust port. You can see where the exhaust expels, you're down too low, so bring it up and close that gap up. You take your rope. It's never a bad idea either, guys. Kind of wash the saw up before you start taking parts off, dry it off, and then get to work on it. The saw was already cleaned up. I didn't bother doing a video on it. It was just a quick bath, honestly, weeks ago. It's already dirty from sitting around the shop. It was actually just sitting out in the carbon tent, but pop that in there. You're not forcing it in too hard because you don't want to have the piston go back down. So I'm also watching to see if that flywheel moves. If flywheel moves, I'm going to stop it, twist it up. Okay, piston's up, rope's in there. Now, you can go ahead and get a socket. If you got a big scratch, that works too. You're going to put this on, and this actually has got to go forward. It's going to take a lot of force. Clockwise removes your clutch, okay? This one I already had loose. Like I said, I was planning on doing this. Clockwise, take it off. All right, that's out of the way. Under the clutch is this thing that looks like a washer. This one was actually on backwards. It should say top. When you see top written on it, that's the side that should face you. Should be able to pull out your worm gear as well for your oiler. Set that aside. Guys, here's our flywheel side. There's a nut in that flywheel. I'm going to take my scrunch and go counterclockwise on this side. Whew, it's on there tight. Spin the nut all the way down with your hand and then spin it off about one full turn. Your extension, flip it over. Unless you got like a punch or something else you can use, put it on top of that nut. And check. Flywheel's wiggling loose. Usually it's just a good smack, nothing too crazy. You're not trying to, you know, will a hole through this thing. Check it. Yep, so that's going to come off. Everything off. Got the nut. Got my flywheel off. T25. There's 2 bolts right here for the ignition coil. 8mm socket. Undo the nuts and remove your exhaust. Pull your exhaust off. Thing looks good there. I'm actually going to take the bolts out that hold the exhaust in place. We've got to get the handle off and out of our way. Now, I have some difficulty removing these plugs. So if anybody's got a good tip for removing these, comment below, let me know. I've just been taking 2 flathead screwdrivers, working them in here, because there are a couple flat spots in these plugs. I'll end up having to order a couple more of these. I'll see if I can find these on Amazon though. That one's all busted. It'd be nice if they just used a screw and just held them in place, but they don't. Thank God there weren't any big dogs on that. Just ripped my thumb open. So you got these rubber gaskets here. is your anti-vibration and all that good stuff. You got to be able to push them through and pull the handle off. You're able to push it down in a bit. Move on to the next one. This is probably the biggest pain in the butt of the whole job. Just trying to get the handle free from the housing. Sure, somebody that's been doing this longer than me have a better idea on how to get these things out of here. And if you do, please do share, because that is a pain right in the butt. So this one stays on the handle, 2 empty holes. The other 2 grommets are still on the saw. We're going to leave those there. With those off, you're able to look at the bottom of the saw, see where your oiler is. Carefully pry this hose. This is the oiler, the hose for your oiler in here, okay. Finagle that thing around. Alright, so that's free. Okay, pull your whole oil tank right out. So now's the time too, like if these lines have cracks, checking, anything like that, replace it. Otherwise, you see, you have to pull your handle off to get in there, and that's unacceptable. What a pain right in the butt. Yeah, guys, so they do actually make a tool to get this spring off. What I've done though is I bend a nail over, pretty good hook in it, grab my vice grips, hook it into the spring, pull it back, and off you go. Seems simple enough, but it'll help when it comes time to put it back on. You do have a little snap ring in here you got to remove as well. Careful you don't go losing it, guys. Remove it. Don't lose it. And then all these little pieces here just kind of slide forward and pop off. Got a little bushing in there. Make sure you don't lose that. Usually start working these things off. This is pretty rusty. We'll probably clean that up before we reassemble. Set the brake handle aside. There is a little piece of metal in here. It kind of works as a spring as well. Set that aside. Saw upside down. Grab your T25 and you will look directly down and see 4 bolts. These are holding the motor in place. We got those screws out. Let's see if they fit the bottom of the motor. For mounting it, they don't. It seems to be a different thread pattern, which means we are going to take a trip to the hardware store, bring the motor, and see which ones fit, and I'll let you guys know. And before we do that, though, let's finish disassembly, so that's at least complete. So next step, really, we've got to get this rubber piece right here where the carburetor sits through, and then get the motor out. Okay, there is a little plastic ring in here. Gonna pop that guy forward. Try not to break it. Set that aside. All I'm gonna do is start wiggling, working the motor, looking at it, and saying, okay, how's this thing come apart, right? As can, you get a flat head that you can sacrifice around all the edges. There's no sharp edges. Push down on that rubber piece a little bit. Start prying away. You start at the top and fold it down and start working it out. Kind of pushing it in on itself as you go. At the same time, I've got a little leverage here on the motor. Once it's started, kind of pull forward and work it out. Okay, fix that piece. Now, this is pretty filthy, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up real quick, probably off camera, make this thing look nice and new, and then we'll get into, I'll let you guys know what those bolts are going to be for the new motor to mount it in here. And we'll go from there. Alright guys, so I'm back. I know I wasn't gone for you guys, but I washed up these parts quick. There was some junk in there. Just gave these things a quick bath while it's all in pieces. And then I ran over to our local Ace. I brought the motor with me just so that I could match it up. Now you guys, you might not be able to use the exact same bolts as me because, well, you know, quality control on these things can be all over the place. But I did find 4 bolts that fit. Now here's the original bolt that was holding the Stihl engine in, and here is the new bolt. All right, not sure if you guys will be able to see, but we're talking really coarse to a fine, more machine thread. Okay, this, if you wanted to risk it and just go get some, you're looking at the M5 0.80 by 25, 1 inch long. Okay, that's what I ended up buying, and that's what I'm going to use to hold that motor in. With that, I think this is going to be it for this video, guys. The next video, we are going to do what we got to do to get this motor and this saw back together, walk you guys through it step by step. If you guys have hung out and watched this whole thing, let me know. Shoot me a thumbs up down below in the comment section so I know people actually watch this video start to finish. Give me a thumbs up on the overall video itself. Heck, just leave me a comment. Let me know you even watched it. You enjoyed it. You're looking forward to the next video. I really do appreciate you guys. We just hit 1,000 subscribers in the making of this video, so that is really, really awesome. And yeah, if you're still here, give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe, hit the bell, hit all so you don't miss any future uploads, and make sure YouTube notifications are on, guys. Keep an eye out for part 2, putting a new motor in this Stihl MS 170, and have an awesome day. I'll see you guys later. Bye.